Are you okay if your partner has the majority of close friends as the opposite sex? Why or why not?
And none of these things were an issue until I went there. As soon as a black man can make money off the plantation, they try to tell you that the money is dirty.
When did you ever do a show in America that was directly funded by the American government? It was put on by a promoter. I don't get how conflating the two, but again, most people don't see things on a deeper level. They see things on a surface level. So of course, Dave Chappelle is the GOAT. No idols, man. That's the best thing Dave said. I am not your hero. But what social media has really amplified is the fact that these are all farms now. If you look in any comment section, you can see what I'm saying is true. Would you rather be able to talk to animals or speak all human languages, and why?
Cook it up, hen dog.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's your boy Black Zeus checking back in on the YouTube channel with another episode of Not Another Comedy Podcast, the companion piece to the live show Not Another Comedy Show, which, by the way, tickets are available for the next editions. The next Toronto edition of Not Another Comedy Show comes your way next Friday, April 24th at 8 p.m. Catacombs Cabaret, right downtown at Queen and Augusta, which is a block west of Queen and Spadina. Very easily accessible. Tickets have already been moving. Thank you to everybody who's been grabbing your tickets. The Toronto show continues to build. We're about 20% of the way sold right now. I'm obviously expecting there will be more by the time next week rolls around. Tickets are available at the links in the comment section and bio below, on all my socials and all that good stuff. The next Hamilton edition of Not Another Comedy Show, which is the one we record for YouTube, takes place Sunday, May 3rd at Center for Talking Arts. Sunday, May 3rd at the Center for Talking Arts, downtown Hamilton. Once again, we filmed those ones for YouTube. The next filmed episode, episode 2, will be airing or premiering on the YouTube channel next Wednesday. So be on the lookout for that. Already started to post clips. Once again, really focused on building community through comedy. Trying to do things a little differently with my live shows. We do comedy up front, and then we have engaging conversations on the back end based off of audience-written answers to questions in this bucket. And just to give you a little preview, let's pick one right now. These are really the ones that didn't get picked. So these are real human-written answers. Let's hope they're good, because a lot of them were... Yo, I'm already scrapping this one. Wait. Yeah, scrapping that one because the person did not write why. That happened a few times at this last show. People, you got to read the whole thing out. Give us your answer and then why. Are you okay if your partner has the majority of close friends as the opposite sex? Why or why not? This person wrote, this is true and totally fine because they are all gay. But even if they were all straight, that would be cool because she is awesome. Okay. I'm pretty sure this one actually got answered at the show, which once again, I got to make sure they don't end up back in the bucket so that I can pull new questions just for the podcast that didn't get picked on the live show. I'll oblige, though. This one did get picked. This will be answered on the next episode that premieres next week. So again, the question, are you okay if your partner has the majority of close friends as the opposite sex? Why or why not? This is true and totally fine because they are all gay. So this person was in the audience and their girl had the majority of male friends, but it's fine because they're all gay. But even if they were all straight, that would be cool because she is awesome. So I'm pretty sure we all made the joke there. It's like, oh, someone's trying to get home safe. Got it. My personal take on this, I mean, I've known quite a few women that have majority male friends. I don't think it's uncommon this day and age. I don't think it's not normal either. Just because I'm also a male friend of some females who have a lot of male friends. It's not always the case that you're trying to sleep with them, but I will say there's usually a period in history where, like, I'll put it this way. I saw one of the, that balloon popping show that's gotten famous or popular as a format. Everybody's doing the balloon popping dating game on social media. I'm sure you've seen the clips. A guy or a girl stands there, and then there's a bunch of guys or girls that are potential dates. They all have a balloon. As soon as they don't like something that the person says or does, they pop the balloon saying they're out. I saw a clip from one of these games, and the girl was making the argument that they're not trying to sleep with her. She has the majority male friends. And the guy was like, bro, I'm a guy and I know guys. And a lot of the times I feel like when we get answers like this, it's very politically correct. You're in the room with your girl, or you're just you're trying to be on the right side of history, quote unquote. So you say what you think is right. But this guy pushed it like in a positive way on the show. It was for views, right? So he's like, I dare you, call your best male friend right now and just pretend like you're interested to go on a date and see what he does. And she was so confident. I'll try and find the clip and put it in here afterwards. She was so confident. She's like, no, this is my best friend. I know him. He's not trying to sleep with me, blah, 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 blah. He doesn't even like me like that. She calls and she's like, well, so, I was thinking maybe we could go on a date. And then the guy like pauses. He's like, what? Like a romantic thing. I think it was one of the British versions of it. Like a romantic thing. Bro, the guy within 10 seconds of getting the offer was all in. And everybody on set was just like, I told you. And like, bruh, I've dealt with this directly. I've dealt with this directly with a specific ex of mine comes to mind. And it's almost like some females are just oblivious to how men operate. Not saying this is a blanketed thing. Because again, once you work on yourself, it should be a no-brainer. You should actually, it's healthy to have a mix of opposite sex friends. It's a green flag, I think. It's like, oh, this person can be cordial with both. But also, are they aware that there's potentially something taking place in the background mentally? It's like that guy who was just that girl's best friend for over a decade. And then the second she's like, yeah, I think maybe we could get romantic. He jumped on the chance. The way guys operate, we hang out with women that we're cool with. And if we're cool with you, I think most men would be open to going on a date. Most men, especially the ones that don't really work on the mental aspect of life, they'll sleep with you in a heartbeat, of course. There are a lot of guys, I have been this guy, hanging around women that you want to get with, that don't see anything with you, like romantically, just hoping. And you know what? In that past life, it happened. You just hang around long enough. Guys know you hang around long enough and the opportunity will show up. Not saying it's right, but it is human behavior. It is how we operate. And yeah, that is a brief glimpse into what Not Another Comedy Show is. That's why I decided to do this companion podcast instead of continuing to do Black Zeus the podcast, which might still come back because Dante is back. Ladies and gentlemen, he did a guest spot at the last edition of Not Another Comedy Show Live, which will be part of episode 2, premiering next week on the channel. So once again, be on the lookout for that. Not Another Comedy Show live shows, Toronto, Friday, April 24th at Catacombs Cabaret. Tickets are online. The next Hamilton edition, which we are filming for YouTube, Sunday, May 3rd at Center for Talking Arts, downtown Hamilton. Tickets available online. Both shows already have tickets moving. Once again, 1 week out from the next Toronto edition, next Friday from when this episode airs on the channel. This is, however, Not Another Comedy Podcast. I'm not going to go through the whole spiel, but just in case this is your first one, this is a companion piece to the live show, but also a way for me to continue to be active on the channel without having to do the regular podcast grind. And it's not that I can't do that podcast grind. It's that it just hurts me in my soul. I will give myself the space to do that on this if there's something I want to discuss, which in a minute I'll bring it up. But the format of this podcast is I give myself a 10-minute cap. So any modern subject, I don't want to tackle a bunch of them. I'll pick the most interesting one to me, and one that I feel like I actually have a take that, I want to give. But, my ego is... these are just opinions on my channel. I could give a fuck. I'm not like, I'll probably talk about this because there was two things I wanted to bring up on this episode. And should I start the timer? Because I'm going to start to talk about it. Why not? Let's start the 10-minute active countdown timer to make sure I don't go overtime and become a content creator. I care about comedy, bro. I just know this is part of the game. I have to play it. So here we are. Here's the stopwatch. Here's the 10-minute countdown. I'm hitting start. So this week, the thing I want to tackle is a recent Dave Chappelle interview that is going viral right now. Dave Chappelle, obviously, I have every episode or every season of Chappelle Show. My original box set's still here. Dave Chappelle is one of the 5 archetypes for me that I have on my wall, like the 5 comedians who I say really helped shape and mold my comedic lens growing up. Dave is absolutely one of those guys. And in this interview clip that I will play, it's going viral because he recently did a sit-down interview, and one of the subjects that came up was him going to Saudi, doing the comedy festival in Saudi Arabia, and all the backlash that he got. And I'll say this is the quote that's going around that's really picked up traction, and this is the quote from him. Soon as the black man can make money off the plantation, they tell you the money is dirty. Dave Chappelle on doing comedy in Saudi Arabia. So that was his quote. And of course, I see the majority of people being like, facts. See, Dave's the GOAT. He's goated because he's saying it like it is. I'll play this edited interview portion because I don't think I can play the whole thing. And I found this one that kind of gets all the points that I have rebuttals to. But again, both of us are right and both of us are wrong. These are just opinions being made on social media. It doesn't fucking matter. He actually says my favorite thing at the end, which I'll get to. So I'll play the clip right here.
Intelligence did make it clear that they believe that the Saudis killed Jamal Khashoggi. You had no qualms?
The United States government does business with the Saudis. Netflix does business with the Saudis. Saudis finance tons of movies, even financing boxing matches and all these things. And none of these things were an issue until I went there. As soon as a black man can make money off the plantation, they try to tell you that the money is dirty. Well, okay, I'll go home and spend the money with actual slave owners on it. Mm-hmm. Where is this clean money you're talking?
But
if you want to be that pure about money, then stop driving your car, stop eating, don't use your cell phone. Everything is tethered to something that's just terrible. Every opinion that you could think of is championed in a room. I don't silence your champions. In fact, I make space for your champions to have a voice. But I'm not your champion.
He says it in the end there. And I think it's the most important thing that he says that most people miss. By the way, I am doing a little bit of an artsy-fartsy thing. I got my second camera set up in the studio, but it's not as good as my main camera. So that's why you guys are like, why is this other shot in black and white? Because that's what you do as an artist. You make do with what you have and then you figure things out. I'm an artsy-fartsy guy. This can't be the first time you've ever heard me say I'm a hippie, I'm an artist to my core, all this stuff. So I'm trying different things. Use what you got, in life. Anyways, taken away from the 10 minutes. But he says, I'm not your champion. And to me, that I think is one of the most critical and important lessons all people should understand, especially when they look up to anybody. You're a human being. You're going to have influences. You're going to have people you look up to. It's natural. No idols. No idols. Dave Chappelle's on my wall. I love and respect Dave. I think he's an absolute beast. And there's so much of what he said that I agree with, but there's still so much of it that I don't. And most people nowadays is just like and this is what I'll bring up next week on Not Another Comedy Podcast, because I didn't want to bring these two issues together. But what social media has really amplified is the fact that these are all farms now. Like, if you look in any comment section, you can see what I'm saying is true. It's all facts. He's a legend. He's a genius. Or just the complete opposite. Bullshit. He's freaking wrong. What an idiot. Freaking. There's no actual dialogue happening anymore. And I think, to me, especially as an artist, the most interesting part is where opinions differ, but you can come together respectfully. Literally why Not Another Comedy Show was birthed because I just got so tired and bored of seeing the same generic shit. We're in a comedy boom, but all these comedians are just focused on like extracting dollars out of it. What's the actual experience you're putting on for people? And what I mean by that is most of these shows during the comedy boom are just other comedians putting on other comedy shows. But what's in it for the audience? Because we're going to drive this thing into the ground. It's already kind of starting to happen. Back to this video. This is my response. Okay, this is what I typed out like on Instagram where I saw this post. I don't have TikTok, sorry to disappoint. What about all the shit that Bill Burr, Pete Davidson, and them got? They all got flamed for going. So what is this deflection? And people are going to be like, this is genius, which in that comment section, the majority of people were literally, I had other comic friends post, and this is what kind of made me be like, let me talk about this, because what, like, we're so blinded. Like, we know that Dave is a genius, so you got to give him the credit. He knows how to say what to say, you know, and it's almost like scapegoating. But let me finish reading my response here. In America, you don't get paid by the feds directly for comedy shows. Over there, meaning in Saudi, you do, because they clearly have a mission of culturally washing away their bad image. The people over there deserve to laugh and be entertained just as much as anybody else. No brainer. Why shouldn't Saudi Arabia, why shouldn't anybody in any country have the same right to freedom of expression, freedom of laughter, freedom of thought, all that stuff? Obviously, it's been suppressed over there because the feds over there have a very open criminal history of just murking people for having different opinions. This comedy festival that they put on is a cultural washing of that. The sports washing. Let me continue with the people over there deserve to laugh and be entertained just as much as anybody. No denying that. But the artists that went there and took the money from the feds acting like they're on some moral high ground because America is also corrupt and people have been working with them since Dave said no. That's what Dave said in the interview. He was like, well, I already said no to them once because of the Khashoggi murder, right? But since then, Netflix has worked with Saudi. They're putting on boxing events. They're doing all these events and stuff. So why not me? Like, to me, that's the most washed argument ever. But he actually, in my opinion, made it crazier and worse. But most people obviously see it as a positive because the way he worded it, okay? Okay, so literally everything he listed got flack. He tried to be like, there was only backlash when me, a black comedian, took the money. Bullshit. Bill Burr probably got more flack that I saw publicly than Dave Chappelle. Freaking Pete Davidson's dad died in 9/11, and it's already been proven that Saudi has a deep connection to that event. And Pete Davidson still he got so much flack. Everybody was like, dude, they killed your dad and you went and took the money. Shane Gillis literally said, they did 9/11. Those aren't our friends. Okay, Shane Gillis arguably way bigger than Pete Davidson in the comedy sphere. Bill Burr bigger than Shane Gillis, obviously in the comedy sphere. But still, there's people out there who have a backbone and actually know, like, you can't just wash things away under pretty words, which is what Dave kind of did, in my opinion. The term sports washing literally came out of that. So you know he's capping if you look into things yourself and stop believing every post you see. But most people don't do that. They just saw the Dave Chappelle clip. They felt how they already felt and attached themselves to the smart Dave Chappelle using smart words and verbiage and be like, yeah, man, he's our GOAT. I'm not even going to bother to look into this myself or think for myself because he's the GOAT. You're all bots, bro. Social media has completely turned everything upside down and people are comfortable being bots now. It's bonkers to me. This is how I ended my comment. Dave has been one of my faves. Clearly, one of my top 5 of all time on the wall right now represented. I ain't blinding myself from the truth because he threw in the race card into the mix. He ended this thing with such, like, it's such a line. It's like a bait. It's race baiting, essentially. Nobody had an issue with it until the black man, because I'm the biggest, most popular black comedian. As soon as I took the Saudi money, now everybody has criticism for me. No, nigga, you're the biggest name on the festival. Everybody else got flack on the festival. Everything you listed as saying nobody said anything, literally everybody said everything. About the boxing stuff. Dude, I've been on the podcast before talking about WWE is in bed with Saudi, helping them sports wash their image over there. They're clearly using Western media influences to wash away the fact. Oh, I already hit the 10 minutes. Damn it. I already hit the 10 minutes. Are you serious? It's been 10 minutes already. Well, there it is. There's my opinion on it. I just want to cap it. You know, think for yourselves, man. While it's still legal to do so, it's okay to love Dave Chappelle and disagree with some of the things he's saying. But the problem is that most people don't even know, like they don't have their own foundation of knowledge. They don't look into things themselves. They mostly get their news like this, scrolling. They mostly get their opinions like this, scrolling. They formulate everything they could possibly have an opinion on based off of just nothing they've looked into themselves. It takes zero effort to be like, oh, who else was on that festival? Bill Burr. Oh, Bill Burr got a ton of flack. People were booing him at his shows. People were canceling ticket purchases and stuff. Bill Burr was the next biggest comedian on that festival in terms of like the Western influence of comedians. He got so much flack. Pete Davidson, friggin' Bobby Lee, so many guys. So no, it's not just because Dave Chappelle was black and as soon as he started taking dirty money, people had a problem with it. Nigga, isn't it weird though that you have to justify you taking money because America is also corrupt? Isn't that the dumbest take though, realistically, for someone as educated and as well opinionated, well thought out as yourself? That is so crazy to me. Like, you're conflating two different things. You're brushing aside the fact that you got paid directly from the Saudi government. That was a government sponsored event. So that is literal blood money. And saying what? You're not going to have an issue with me coming back to America and spending American money with slave owners on them? Bruh, when did you ever do a show in America that was directly funded by the American government? It was put on by a promoter in an event that has nothing to do with any official ties to the government. I don't get how conflating the two. But again, most people don't see things on a deeper level. They see things on a surface level. So of course, Dave Chappelle is the GOAT. His opinion is everything. Bruh. It's okay. No idols, man. No idol. That's the best thing Dave said. I am not your hero, bro. Stop putting. I'm not your hero. Even my opinion. Anything I say is just what I think based off my viewpoints on the world. It should spark you to think instead of just immediately get in the comments and be like, bleh. But that's the majority of people, bro. I will always bring this up. 85-10-5 rule. Really examine that 85-10-5 rule. 85% of the earth is here to get subjugated. They are here having basic opinions, basic thoughts, basic experiences, not thinking deeply about any aspect of life, just living on the surface. 10% of the world is here knowing the history, knowing the actual things that came before how we got to the current events in life. They use that knowledge. They subjugate the rest of the 85% of the people with the knowledge of how this world actually runs. That would be your politicians, your elites. Stop calling them elites, bruh. This is the dumbest shit. Which makes you what? That makes you not elite? Because you don't have a quadrillion dollars because you didn't subjugate the earth? Are you dumb? And the 5% are the people who do the work, who do the mental reflection and thought-provoking, deep-level meditation, thought on life, on their experiences, what they've experienced, how they are experiencing and affecting others and the world around them. Taking all that, the same knowledge that we all have access to, just not subjugating it. And instead of like the 10%, subjugating the 85%, we're here to just do good. Like 85-10-5. Which camp do you belong in? Because I promise you the majority of you are 85ers. I doubt I have any friggin' followers in the 1% camp out here. And the 1% is really the 10%. And then the 5%, like, you know, again, I'm not trying to have ego about this and be like, I'm trying to save the world. No, bro. I'm just trying to get you to think differently. Because that's what literally changed my entire life. Stop going with just the running thought. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. This is not another comedy podcast. I'm going to end it here by pulling another unpicked, hopefully, suggestion from the bucket. Once again, this happens live at Not Another Comedy Show. Tickets are available, Toronto, Hamilton. We're doing Ajax in May, so be on the lookout for that. We're hitting up Guelph soon. There'll be dates, but we're bringing this format around and hopefully to the world sooner than later. This question was, would you rather be able to talk to animals or speak all human languages, and why? Languages, because then I could be mean to everyone. And this person drew a heart. Aw, adorable. Why are you trying to be mean to everybody? Not trying to tell you how to live your life, but god damn it, maybe there's something going on inside of you that makes you want to be mean to everybody else. This question again also came up. I'm gonna have to get like a little smaller bucket or something for us to throw the pick questions into, just so they don't make it back in here. This question did come up at episode 2 of Not Another Comedy Show, which will premiere next Wednesday right here on the YouTube channel. I was one of the offshoot ones. I said speak to animals. Again, hippie, you know. Speaking all languages is cool, but I feel like we at least have the technology to where I can interact with all languages without having to speak the languages. There is no app. There is no nothing that lets you talk to all pets, or not even just pets, but all animals. I think, again, being a hippie, I think there's a lot to learn from the animal world. Someone made the argument, is like, what are you going to learn from a dog, talking to a dog? But I'm like, why just dogs? You could talk to all animals. Go into the ocean and talk to some of those mofos, because I'm pretty sure dolphins are some of the smartest things on this planet. I would love to talk to a raven. You know how smart those birds are? And we think, because our human thinking makes us think we're above them, because, you know, we can push them around. But bro, a lot of these animals are super geniuses that we've also mimicked in life and learned so much from. Me personally, I think that we have enough of the technology to where I can go to another country, plug whatever they're saying into an app, and it translates it for me, and then I can translate it back. We can make that work. It's way more fascinating to me to try and get into the animal kingdom and figure that out. Imagine you could talk to all animals, bruh. Like, if you could talk to raccoons, you would own Toronto. Look at how I even said Toronto. You would own Toronto. There you go. All the locals being pissed at how I said it. But again, raccoons or whatever. I would love to talk to like literally most animals, bro. Just even have a conversation with most animals on a deeper level, just as a hippie speaks to me. I think I'm gonna wrap it here. This is what the show is. I come here, I promote the new shows, I tell you what's going on the channel, I bring up one thing that I'm interested in talking about. You guys take it however you take it. Pause. I do another one of these, and then I tell you once again that you can be part of this experience live. Not Another Comedy Show coming your way. Toronto, Friday, April 24th at Catacombs Cabaret, right downtown Toronto. Tickets available. The next recorded episode in Hamilton takes place at Center for Talking Arts, Sunday, May 3rd. Tickets are moving. Thank you once again to everybody who continues to build this experience up. I'm so excited because, like, I actually feel like I've taken the time to figure out what I want to do in the space of comedy, and I'm doing it in exactly the way I want to, without the pressure of social media telling me I have to do this thing. I don't. You don't either. You can do whatever you want. Just be meaningful about it. Have real thought behind what you put out, and then put it out with intention, with meaning, and it will grow. Like, it will. Not everything has to be a commentary piece. Not everything has to be here's a video behind me and I'm going to green screen talk over it. Not everything has to be you going to the grocery store on a Tuesday to bother a family while they grocery shop so you can film content. Get over yourself. These platforms have given everybody the idea that all their ideas are good and need to be out there. And the problem is 85-10-5. The majority of this earth are basic thinkers. Sorry to put it to you. They just are. That's how the world works. How do you think politicians get to continue to run and subjugate the earth the way they do? Because we give them our power and then we think it's all on them. Bogus. This is not another comedy podcast. Let me say that one more time without completely fumbling. This is not another comedy podcast. I am comedian Black Zeus. You can find me online, mostly here on YouTube and Instagram at AKA Black Zeus. Be on the lookout for live show tickets. Go support live comedy wherever you are, because the next Dave Chappelle, the next Black Zeus, the next Richard Pryor, the next Dick Gregory, the next Sanford, well, Red Fox, I always do that. The next George Carlin, the next Shane Gillis, the next is in your neighborhood right now, and all they need is a little support. And you'd actually be surprised. Live comedy is so much better than just watching clips online. I love you guys. I will see you back here next week on the channel with episode 2 of Not Another Comedy Show Live. Deuces.